Hello from Mindset Daily, wishing you a day full of health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching the Mindset Daily channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support us. Thank you so much.
What if the life you're waiting for is already responding to who you are, not what you wish for? Most people chase goals with a fractured identity. Real change begins the moment you become the kind of person who naturally attracts what you once begged for. Because life mirrors belief, you attract what you are. Your habits, thoughts, and self-image broadcast your frequency. Upgrade them, and the results change. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. Become it now. In a moment, you'll see why changing identity matters more than chasing desire. You attract what you are. Your life reflects your identity. Instead of asking, why don't I have what I want yet? Ask, who am I becoming in pursuit of it? Life doesn't give you what you daydream about. It gives you what matches your character. You can want wealth, love, power, peace, but until you become the person those things gravitate toward, they will elude you. Your current results mirror an internal thermostat set by self-image. You don't rise to your ambitions, you fall to your standards. You may declare bold goals, but quiet self-belief still runs the show. Every habit, choice, and thought casts a vote for the future you're building. Picture planting seeds. If you sow weeds but wish for roses, the soil won't obey desire. It obeys discipline. Energy, not intention, cultivates the harvest. So ask yourself, what am I attracting by the way I think, speak, and live? Have I become the person my dreams would chase? Transformation doesn't begin with the world around you. It begins with the world within you. Don't focus on having more, focus on being more. You can't outrun your self-image. You want success, but do you truly see yourself as successful? If your subconscious identity doesn't match your desire, you'll sabotage your own ascent. That's why many win briefly, then slip back to comfort. They never changed who they believe they are. You can train hard, read endlessly, repeat affirmations. But if, deep down, you feel unworthy, life echoes that signal. You don't attract success by chasing it. You attract it by embodying the mindset, values, and actions of someone already living it. Picture a rubber band. Stretch it and it expands. Let go and it snaps back. Identity is the anchor. Until it shifts, change won't stick. You might get fit for weeks or earn more for months. Then retreat to what's familiar unless you raise your standard independent of results. Ask, who must I become to live at the level I desire? What would that person think and do? And will I train myself into that image instead of wishing for a different outcome? You don't change life first. You change you, and life follows. Desire without alignment is friction. Desire alone isn't power. Misaligned with identity, it breeds frustration. You want higher income, confidence, discipline, yet old habits pull the other way. That friction drains energy and leads to fatigue. Most people don't quit because the goal is too far. They quit because they aren't aligned inside to walk toward it daily. They don't believe yet. Picture an archer aiming at a bullseye. If the arrow is perfect but the bow is twisted, the shot still misses. You are the bow. Until your beliefs, intentions, and behaviors align, no strategy will hit the mark consistently. Ask yourself, where am I fighting myself? Which desires repeat but never manifest? What part of me resists what I claim to want? There is no substitute for inner alignment. When actions echo values, and words reflect belief rooted in vision, success stops feeling like struggle. It starts feeling like gravity. The world reflects your vibration. It responds not to your mask, your titles, or even your words, but to the signal you emit. That subtle energy, forged in thoughts, beliefs, and intentions, radiates outward and sets the tone for what you attract. Life answers essence, not appearances. You can stand tall, speak strongly, and smile wide. But if beneath it all you tremble with self-doubt, the world will sense it. You can give generously, yet if bitterness lingers, your giving carries weight, not warmth. The universe reads between the lines. It listens to your frequency, not your language. The principle is ancient and often forgotten. You don't attract what you say. You attract what you are, a magnet pulling people, opportunities, and outcomes that match your inner weather. If you live in scarcity, not enough time, money, love, you magnetize lack. But when you cultivate an abundant mindset, trusting more is on the way, doors appear where you once saw walls. Think of people who shift a room the moment they walk in. They don't need to speak. Their presence carries a frequency. That's resonance, transmitted, not manufactured. Everything is built on frequency, and you're no exception. You're always broadcasting. So ask, what am I sending out? Trust or tension, expansion or contraction, power or passivity. Life isn't fooled by declarations. It listens to conviction. You don't need to speak louder. You need to align deeper. Who you're being right now shapes what you're receiving now, not someday, not after goals or approval. The vibration you hold becomes the reality you mold. Your task isn't to strain harder, but to tune yourself, refine the signal, release the mental noise and emotional clutter that scrambles it. Begin to embody what you desire. Don't perform it, become it. Walk as if peace lives in your bones. Speak as if your words plant seeds of power. Think as if your thoughts paint your future, because they do. Life mirrors what you are, not what you pretend to be. Want more? Be more. Want love? Radiate it. Want opportunity? Walk in expectancy. Want respect? Carry yourself with quiet certainty. This is the path, not brute effort, but alignment. The world responds not to your hustle, but to your harmony. Tune yourself, and the universe plays in key. You don't get what you pray for. You get what you prepare for. You say you want more, peace, money, opportunity, but the question louder than any desire is this: are you prepared for it? Life doesn't deliver on prayer alone. It delivers on preparation. Readiness determines receiving. Until you grasp that, you'll keep asking for what you haven't built the capacity to hold. Some doors stay closed not because you're unworthy, but because you're unready. Life protects you from what you can't yet sustain. Receive too soon, and you risk destroying the gift and yourself. A throne given to a child becomes a prison. A fortune handed to the undisciplined turns into a curse. Blessings delivered to an unprepared vessel become burdens. Picture a farmer who prays for rain. If his field is unplowed, his seeds unsown, his soil unfed, what happens when the skies finally open? Flood, chaos, ruin. The rain meant to nourish becomes the force that overwhelms. This is the most overlooked truth. Preparation is faith in motion. To prepare for what you can't yet see is to declare you believe it's coming. You trust the timing. You're serious about receiving. You want peace. Do your habits make room for stillness? You want abundance. Do your thoughts still recycle scarcity? You want opportunity. Are you sharpening your skills in the dark so you're ready when the light finds you? Ask yourself, have I truly prepared for what I'm asking for? If success knocked today, would I be ready to host it? Would my character carry the weight of influence? Would my daily disciplines protect the fortune I claim to seek? Would my mindset, humility, and integrity expand with success, or collapse beneath it? Life isn't a lottery, it's a mirror. If you don't yet see what you seek, it's because there's more becoming to do. The delay isn't punishment, it's preparation. You're being asked to build the version of yourself who can carry the future you envision. Stop waiting, start becoming. Become the person who makes peace a lifestyle, not a request. Manage small resources with excellence so greater ones are safe in your hands. Show up early, stay late, learn deeply, live intentionally. For those who prepare in silence, opportunity eventually knocks like thunder. For those who train in the shadows, success looks sudden, but nothing great is sudden. It's earned in quiet study and forged in obscurity. Don't envy the one who rose quickly. Envy the one who built quietly, who grew roots before branches and trusted that, when the time came, there'd be no scramble, only alignment. So prepare today. Prepare as if the answer to your prayer is already on the way, because it is. But it will not stay unless you're ready to sustain it. Your preparation is your permission slip to destiny. Sign it with action, and you won't need to chase blessings. They'll recognize you and stay. The unseen identity governs the visible life. Everything you do flows from who you believe you are, not others' opinions, not pretense, but the quiet conviction beneath your choices. If your results confuse you, if outcomes contradict your desires, look inward, not outward. Identity is the root. Results are the fruit. You can crave excellence, study, plan, hustle, and pray. But if your core identity clings to mediocrity, old labels, past failures, or the false humility of not enough, your habits will sabotage your intentions. No matter how grand your goals, you won't rise above the ceiling of your self-image. You don't perform to your potential. You perform to your belief about your potential. Your unseen identity, your self-concept, and deep-seated beliefs writes the blueprint for your outer life. That's why two people with the same education, opportunities, and starting line can create wildly different results. One believes they deserve greatness. The other believes they must settle. The world mirrors whichever belief they broadcast. It isn't arrogance to believe in your worth. It isn't arrogance, it's obedience to truth. You weren't made to shrink into molds others built for you. You were built to grow into the vision placed within you. Every time you limit yourself to others' expectations, you betray your divine design. Picture a stage actor. They may wear the costume of a king or a pauper, but the performance follows the script they rehearse. So it is with your life. Change your wardrobe, job, location, or circle, but if the inner script stays the same, the story repeats. You are both actor and author. Ask yourself, what script have I been reciting in silence? Is it fear, failure, and getting by, or courage, conviction, and becoming? The lines on repeat, I'm not good enough. This always happens to me. I'll never break through, aren't harmless. They're rehearsals, and what you rehearse, you become. The good news, you can rewrite the script. Change the story, change the role, change the role, change the results. No longer the victim, you become the victor. No longer the doubter, you become the doer. It starts not with massive action, but with permission. Give yourself permission to believe in your worth, to expect better, to embody excellence. Begin speaking from the new script. Even if your voice trembles, walk in the posture of the person you're becoming. Even if your steps are unsure. Identity precedes transformation. Behavior is only the echo. Begin within, and the rest will follow. Your identity is the thermostat of your life. Set it higher, and everything around you rises to meet it. You weren't born to repeat the past. You were born to rewrite the future. That future begins with how you see yourself today. Your circle echoes your standards. Look closely at those nearest to you. They're not just companions, but a living mirror of your mindset, your standards, your identity. Who surrounds you isn't a coincidence. It confirms who you've chosen to become or to remain. You may talk about change, but if your circle is filled with comfort seekers, excuse makers, or complainers, that's the energy you've allowed into your orbit. Whether you see it or not, it reflects something still in you. Like attracts like. Before your surroundings evolve, you must evolve. This isn't about abandoning people. It's about leading yourself, being so committed to growth that you become the standard. Not just for your life, but for the energy around you. When you raise your expectations for your thoughts, your words, your behavior, others will either rise to meet you or fall away. Let them. Growth doesn't ask permission. Imagine a fire. When it's weak, it's barely noticed. As it grows, it brings light, radiates warmth, commands presence, and drives away the shadows. That fire is your purpose, your vision, your becoming. Feed it, protect it, let it purify your environment. Ask yourself, are my daily conversations building my future or binding me to my past? Do the people around me celebrate growth or retreat into comfort? Do they reflect my highest self or my old self? Your environment shapes you more than you realize. If you have ambition, but your circle rewards complacency, you'll stay stuck. You need challenge, truth, and people who see more in you than you sometimes see in yourself. Elevate your standards. Raise your internal frequency. The moment you do, your circle begins to shift. Some will feel the fire and ignite. Others will retreat. That isn't loss, it's alignment. When you become intentional about your inner world, the outer world responds. You won't need to beg for better relationships, opportunities, or energy. You'll attract them by who you are. Choose your circle as if your destiny depends on it, because it does. The body responds to the mind's command. Your posture, your habits, even your energy obey your thoughts. You're not just a body moving through life. You are a mind transmitting instructions. And the body listens. Your walk changes when you believe you matter. Your voice gains weight when you believe you're valuable. The mind is the commander. Every day, you run silent scripts that shape how you act, react, and feel. Whisper, I'm tired, and your spine bends. Your breath shallows, your ambition fades. Declare, I am powerful, and something ancient rises. Your chest opens, your back straightens, and you move as if you belong, because now you believe you do. This isn't fantasy, it's biology. Your nervous system is a loyal listener. Words become its signals, beliefs its instructions, shaping your posture, pace, and presence to match what it hears. With every repeated phrase, you sculpt your state, whether you realize it or not. Picture a soldier at the edge of battle. If his mind holds defeat, his hands tremble and his focus blurs. But if his inner voice declares victory, even amid fear, his body steadies, senses sharpen, courage wakes. The outer form bends to inner conviction. The same principle governs you. Ask, what have I been commanding myself to feel? What do I keep declaring with my words, my tone, my expectations? Repetition is more than a teacher. It's a master sculptor. The thoughts you rehearse become the blueprint of your being. So be intentional with your inner dialogue. Notice when you reinforce weakness under the mask of honesty. I can't focus. I always fail. I'm not good enough. These aren't observations. They're instructions, and your body obeys. Change the input, and the output transforms. Tell yourself, I am focused. Your attention sharpens. Declare, I always rise. Your energy lifts. Say, I carry value. Your presence expands. The shift starts within, and the world shifts with you. People respond not to the hidden you, but to the revealed you. You reveal who you are by how you carry yourself. Speak defeat, and people see a defeated man. Speak strength, and they see a leader. It starts with a choice, not loud, but consistent. A whisper you turn into a ritual. I am ready. I am worthy. I am becoming. Keep saying it. Your body is listening, and so is your destiny. You become what you tolerate. Life isn't built in grand moments or applause. It's built quietly in what you allow, excuse, and accept each day. The small choices, the silent tolerances, the whispered justifications. These are the bricks of your becoming. Each time you let something slide against your values, you're not merely lowering a standard. You're sculpting a self, writing a quiet contract with your future that promises less than your potential. The tragedy? You may not even notice. This is how greatness erodes, not by sudden collapse, but by slow surrender. Tolerating what should be confronted, excusing what should be corrected, accepting what should be challenged. You say, it's just one missed workout, one more excuse, one little lie to get through the day, but repetition builds reputation, and reputation becomes identity. You are always teaching yourself what you value, what you tolerate, what you're willing to settle for. Think of a stone beneath a dripping faucet. One drop does nothing, a dozen seem harmless, yet over time, that steady drip carves a groove. Compromise reshapes what once stood firm. You don't become weak all at once. You fade, dull, erode. Not because you failed, but because you chose what was easier, safer, less. Ask yourself, what have I tolerated so long that it now defines me? Which boundaries once held firm have I blurred out of fear of discomfort, change, or judgment? What have I let repeat so often it now feels like truth? Greatness doesn't arrive with trumpets. It isn't delivered by chance or inherited by luck. It's forged quietly, relentlessly, by the one who holds the line when lowering it would be simple. It lives in the man who gets up when no one would blame him for staying down. It lives in the woman who tells the truth when silence would be easier, in the soul that does the hard thing, the right thing, the promised thing, even when no one is watching. That is the real test, not how you act before a crowd, but how you live when it's just you and your standard, you and your reflection, you and the value built in silence. You're building a reputation with yourself, every day, every moment, and it either reinforces your worth or undermines it. You can't fake greatness, and you can't shortcut it. You earn it, one refusal at a time, refusing to excuse what you know is wrong, to tolerate what weakens you, refusing to accept what is beneath you. Hold the line. That's where strength grows, where confidence is born, where integrity becomes identity. Your future isn't asking for perfection. It's asking for consistency, courage, resolve, a standard you do not negotiate. You may never control the outcome, but you always control the standard. Draw the line, hold the line, and watch who you become because of it. Your energy teaches others how to treat you. People don't just hear your words, they read your presence. Before you speak, your energy has already spoken. Your body language, tone, and boundaries all declare who you are and what you expect. You can't fake confidence. When you try, the world feels the gap. Walk timid and unsure, and you don't simply fade into the background. You signal that it's safe to overlook you, that your standards are negotiable. Walk with purpose, shoulders back, eyes steady, steps firm, and you don't need to demand respect. You command it through alignment. Your self-belief is a signal, not a shout. The world doesn't treat you as you wish to be treated. It treats you as you expect to be. Expectations are revealed not in talk, but in your way of being. Your energy is your first language. Before trust forms, people read your frequency and calibrate to your belief. They test your presence and mirror it back. Think of a lion in the wild. It doesn't roar to prove power. Its stillness speaks. Its calm asserts dominance. Its lack of fear sets territory. Carry yourself the same way, not with arrogance or noise, but with rooted, unshakable confidence. Carry a quiet dignity that says, I know who I am. I honor myself. You should, too. Ask yourself, what is my energy teaching others? What message do I send before I speak? Have I been shrinking, dimming, apologizing, and calling it humility? Have I mistaken playing small for being kind? Real humility is strength under control. It's power without flaunting, presence without chasing validation. But it is never weakness, never self-erasure, never the absence of self-respect. Every day you train others how to treat you. Through your boundaries, your tone, how you carry yourself in a room. If you allow disrespect, it continues. If you stay silent when your values are crossed, that silence becomes consent. If you seek permission, people hand you limitation. Embody what you want to attract. Want honor? Walk honorably. Want respect? Speak and move like someone who respects themselves. Want strength? Carry it within first. This isn't pretending. It's aligning with your worth, your dignity, your right to take up space. When you align, you don't perform. You are. And people feel it. You attract what you embody. When your inner world is strong, the outer world reflects it. Opportunities shift. Relationships evolve. Environments respond. The world doesn't lead you, it reflects you. Raise your energy not through noise, but through depth, not through ego, but through clarity. Let your presence say, I am here with intention. I don't shrink. I stand in truth. You don't need to demand, just stand. You don't need to prove, just be. The world notices. It always does. Your habits predict your future. Look less at dreams and more at daily rituals. Dreams are easy to say, beautiful, applause-worthy, and cost nothing. Real belief is revealed in repetition. What you do every day declares who you're becoming, more than any vision board or spoken goal. You may claim you want success, peace, love, or wealth, but your habits tell the truth. Routines are the evidence, roots beneath the surface. Like a tree, tomorrow's growth is shaped today. Every great life is built on small disciplines, not grand declarations or emotional breakthroughs. Not spur-of-the-moment inspiration, but quiet, consistent behaviors that compound. Invisible choices, morning routines, thoughts you rehearse, boundaries you protect. These form the foundation. You attract what you prepare for, and preparation is never accidental. It's built into how you live. Your habits either prepare you or prevent you. Want wealth? Examine how you treat today's resources. Do you respect your money, save, invest in growth, or squander too little while dreaming of more? Want peace? Examine your relationship with stillness. When anxiety rises, do you sit in silence or flee into distraction, into screens, noise, busy work? Peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's the practice of presence. You say you want love? Then ask how you treat yourself when the room is empty. Do you speak kindly to your reflection? Do you forgive yourself? Do you hold yourself to a standard worthy of someone who is loved? Picture a gardener who dreams of oranges, boasts of a future orchard, yet waters thorns, neglects seed, ignores soil. His wish is irrelevant. His harvest obeys his habits. That's life. Outcomes don't respond to wants. They respond to what you repeatedly do. Desire is not enough. It must partner with discipline. Ask, what patterns am I practicing? Are these rituals preparing my future or sabotaging it in slow motion? Examine your mornings, examine your nights. How do you end the day? Gratitude, reflection, preparation, or numbing, scrolling, escape? Examine your speech. Do you talk like someone who believes in the future you envision or casually voice defeat, doubt, delay? Every small choice adds up. Every pattern is a vote for the identity you're building. So, are you casting votes for the self you want to become, or for the self you hope to escape? The future isn't written by fate. It's carved by repeated action. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you work for, and that work lives in quiet routines no one sees. You want a new life? Then choose new habits, and repeat them until your identity catches up. Transformation isn't an event. It's a shift, a becoming, one decision at a time. You don't need to change everything overnight, but you do need to start today. Small, specific, aligned. Want to be a writer? Write daily, even badly. Want to be fit? Move your body, even when it's inconvenient. Want financial freedom? Study, budget, plan, even when it feels boring. Over time, habits harden into identity, and identity speaks louder than doubt. So don't look too far ahead. Look at today. Today is the seed of every tomorrow, and what you plant in repetition, you will harvest in reality. Then comes the invisible wall of limiting beliefs. You may not see the prison, but you live in it. No bars, no guards, only thoughts, yet as real as any cell. It keeps you from rising, risking, realizing your potential. Each time you say, "I'm not good at this. I can't. People like me don't." You're not just expressing doubt. You're laying a brick, building the very walls that block the doors you were born to open. These walls are unseen, but their effects are undeniable. They limit what you try, who you meet, how high you reach. These beliefs are learned. You weren't born thinking small. They were taught. By experience, repetition, and the fears others projected onto your path. A teacher, a parent, a friend, a past failure. Those voices echo until they sound like your own. But beliefs aren't facts. They're permissions, agreements you've made with yourself, often unconsciously. And the most dangerous beliefs aren't loud. They're the quiet ones you never think to question. You say, "I'm just not a leader." Who told you that? And why did you agree? "I could never do that." Have you ever tried with your whole might? That life isn't for people like me. Who are you, really? And who drew that boundary? Picture an elephant tied by a thin rope. As a calf, the rope held him. He learned resistance was futile and accepted a limit. Grown now, he could break free, but he doesn't. Why? Because the rope isn't on his leg, it's in his mind. You are that elephant. The rope may be an old story, a stale label, a childhood memory, a moment of shame. The truth is, the rope no longer holds you. Only your belief does. Ask, what belief have I accepted that no longer serves me? What limit have I obeyed without challenge? What have I called impossible without testing it? Freedom begins not by breaking chains, but by realizing they were never real, by seeing the door was open all along. You only needed the courage to walk through. Examine your thoughts like a contract. Who wrote the rule you're living by? And do you still agree? Dismantle the beliefs that convinced you a lesser life was your ceiling. Nothing outside, neither the economy, your past, nor your background, stops you. Only the inner story you keep repeating, and you are free to rewrite it. Want a greater life? Raise the standard of your thoughts. Speak truth to doubt. I don't know yet, but I'm willing to learn. This is unfamiliar, but I can grow. I failed before, but I am not a failure. Each time you challenge a lie, you remove a brick. Each act in spite of fear shakes the walls. Each step toward growth loosens the rope. Change comes not by waiting for permission, but by realizing you were never truly bound. You were trained to stay small, now you know. The prison was never outside you. It lived in your beliefs, and belief can be rebuilt. Start today. Take one thought you've always accepted, pull on it, test it, and if it breaks, let it fall. Your future doesn't depend on your past. It depends on your permission. Freedom begins the moment you say, "I no longer believe that." Your internal language shapes external reality. Words carry power, not just the spoken ones, but especially the whispers you tell yourself. You're in constant dialogue with your mind. A quiet stream of thoughts runs beneath every action, shaping each decision, hesitation, and step forward or back. If that inner voice is crowded with doubt, shame, or defeat, your results will echo the script. Tell yourself, "I'm not smart enough," and you'll act without confidence. Say, "I'm unlucky," and your focus locks onto setbacks, not solutions. Say, "I'm capable," not perfect, but capable, and your behavior rises to meet that belief. This isn't magic or empty affirmation, it's psychology. Self-talk sets the thermostat of behavior. The mind is a room with many doors. Most stay closed because your language keeps them locked. Change the phrase, even slightly, and a door cracks open. Say, "I can figure this out," and your mind starts searching for solutions. Say, "I always mess this up," and it hunts for proof. You're not just the listener of your thoughts, you're the author. With every word you choose, you program your emotional environment. Your self-talk creates your lens, and through that lens you interpret the world. Picture a captain at the helm. The rudder is small, yet it steers the entire ship. Your words are that rudder. Quiet, subtle, deeply influential. Change the language, change the course. When your language is saturated with fear, your vision narrows. You fixate on what could go wrong. You hesitate. You shrink. But when your language is infused with belief, your vision expands. New paths appear. You entertain progress, and that belief becomes fuel. What phrases have you rehearsed so long they run on autopilot? The things you say without thinking shape you most. Are they empowering you or excusing you? Reasons to rise or rationalizations to retreat? Those repeated words are scripts. Scripts you act out day after day. I can never focus. I always mess this up. I don't belong in rooms like that. These aren't harmless. They're instructions, and your ever-obedient mind follows them. But just as you learn to speak defeat, you can learn to speak power. You don't need louder motivation. You need cleaner language. Words that reflect truth, not fear. Words that clarify, not confuse. And once your mind believes a new narrative, your body follows. Behavior adapts. Habits shift. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about telling yourself a better truth. One that energizes you and aligns with the future you're building, not the past you're escaping. Begin here. Pay attention. Catch the words you speak in frustration, fatigue, and fear, then pause. Replace them not with perfect affirmations, but with honest possibility. I don't know how yet. This is tough, but I've faced worse. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not stuck. Language is the lever. Change your inner dialogue and you change your direction. Say, "I am learning," and the mind becomes a student. Say, "I am worthy," and the heart begins to heal. Say, "I can change," and change begins. The future you want doesn't need a louder outside voice. It needs a steadier voice within. I am becoming. Speak it until you see it. The world rewards boldness, not hesitation. Caution has its place, but when caution hardens into hesitation, when reflection turns to paralysis, you don't stay safe. You stay stuck. Waiting has a cost. Lost momentum, missed opportunities, untapped potential. You attract not what you wish for in silence, but what you move toward with courage. The universe does not reward endless analysis from the sidelines. Life responds to movement, to effort, to energy. Momentum is magnetic. Action speaks a language preparation never will. You may be waiting for the perfect moment, plan, or version of yourself, but perfection is a mirage. It shifts as you approach. Life isn't meant to be mastered before it's lived. Breakthroughs come not from certainty, but from decisions. You say, "I'll move when I'm ready." Readiness isn't a feeling, it's a choice. Boldness doesn't come from having all the answers, but from enough clarity to begin and enough faith to adapt. Opportunities don't knock on hesitant doors. They're drawn to movement, not mastery. When you move, even imperfectly, you signal to life, "I'm ready to grow. I'm willing to learn. I'm open to be shaped by the path." Think of explorers who set out with compasses, not maps. They didn't wait for instructions. They trusted their conviction. Because they moved, they discovered. Their steps drew new paths. Their courage made roads where none existed. So ask, what have I delayed under fear disguised as wisdom? What goal, leap, relationship, or purpose have I postponed while pretending to be strategic? Most delays aren't about intelligence. They're about fear. Fear of failure, judgment, being wrong. In waiting, we give up our window and train ourselves to distrust every urge to move. Hesitation isn't neutral. It sends a message to your mind, your spirit, the world. I'm not ready. I don't believe. I don't trust myself. Soon, others mirror it. Opportunities shrink, confidence fades, life moves on. But boldness turns the tide. It moves you, and it moves others. Boldness attracts trust, invites collaboration, and commands respect. It says, "I will learn in motion. I will grow on the path. I trust myself enough to go." even if I'm not flawless. You may stumble. You may err. But mistakes made in motion become lessons. Mistakes made in hesitation become regrets. The first leads to growth. The second breeds resentment. So what would your life look like if you trusted your decision instead of doubting it to death? What would shift if you acted before it felt safe? What doors might open if you stepped in before the invitation was formal? The world respects action, not noise, not theory, not endless preparation. Often, it's the simple, courageous step forward, hands shaking, voice unsteady, knowing only the first move, that unlocks momentum. The next chapter isn't written by chance, it's written by choice. Choose motion, choose trust, choose boldness. When you do, the tide shifts, the path appears, the world responds, and the life you've been waiting for starts waiting for you. Step forward, even if you shake. Self-respect is the root of attraction. You can't demand from the world what you deny yourself. Respect, love, trust, these aren't gifts from others. They mirror what you've cultivated within. If you hope to be treated well while you judge yourself, neglect your needs, and compromise your worth, disappointment will follow. The world watches your example. How you carry yourself teaches others how to treat you. When you walk in self-respect, you don't need to shout, explain, or beg. You radiate a quiet authority that sets the tone and makes one thing clear. This is a person who values themselves. That energy can't be faked, it's felt. It shifts the room, repelling those who would diminish you and attracting those who honor and uplift you. Imagine a house on a shaky foundation. It may look fine for a while, but pressure reveals the cracks. That's what happens when we demand respect outside while denying it within. Now picture a house built right. It doesn't fear the storm, it stands firm. Your self-respect is that foundation. It steadies you when life tests your boundaries, your worth, your resolve. And self-respect isn't given, it's earned. By keeping promises to yourself, showing up when no one is watching, refusing to shrink to be accepted. It's forged when you choose discomfort over self-betrayal, when you say I matter through action. Honor your time, and you teach others to do the same. Uphold your values, and you filter out those who can't meet them. Set standards and enforce them, and you build a life that reflects who you are, not just what you're willing to tolerate. Ask honestly, where have you allowed disrespect in the name of keeping peace? How often have you bitten your tongue, lowered your voice, ignored your instincts to make others comfortable? What have you endured that you'd never advise someone you love to endure? True peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's the presence of alignment. You cannot live in purpose while abandoning yourself for others. What would it look like to honor yourself first? Not in selfishness, but in truth. To say, my needs matter. My voice matters. This space, this energy, this heart are sacred. Not everyone gets access. The moment you respect yourself deeply, the world shifts. It rises to meet you, mirroring the strength, clarity, and worth you carry. Invitations change. Conversations elevate. The love you attract feels different because it is. What you attract next won't be a coincidence. It will be a reflection of the new standard you set, a reward for choosing yourself instead of waiting to be chosen. Let the world catch up to your new frequency. Don't rush to fill the silence left by what no longer fits. In that quiet space, something better is drawn to you, not because you begged for it, but because you became it. Stand tall in your worth, not with arrogance, but with certainty, not to prove anything, but to protect what you've built. You're not asking for too much. You're simply no longer available for too little. And what you attract next will be worth the wait. You are the standard you set. You keep hoping life will raise its offer, that if you wait long enough, the right opportunity, the right relationship, the right breakthrough will appear. Life doesn't work that way. It doesn't reward passivity. It responds to clarity, and clarity starts with the standard you set. Every result, your relationships, your peace, your pursuits, does not reflect your intrinsic worth. Your worth is unquestionable, infinite. Outcomes reflect what you've accepted, tolerated, or settled for in the name of convenience, fear, or fatigue. Raise your standards and things begin to change. Not always quickly, but inevitably. When your standard rises, so do your expectations. Habits shift, decisions align, and the world adjusts to your unwavering stance. You don't need permission to expect more or consensus about a higher quality of life. You need discipline, the resolve to demand more of yourself. in your effort, your focus, your self-care, your words. The world offers what you're prepared to receive, and preparation begins with personal alignment. Standards aren't loud proclamations, they're silent boundaries. They shape what you say yes to, and, more importantly, what you refuse. These invisible lines guide daily choices, define relationships, and protect your purpose. Picture a king setting laws for his kingdom. Not suggestions, but declarations of what is allowed within the gates. They define the culture, the conduct, the tone of the land. The same is true for you. You rule your internal kingdom. The laws you set, the standards you uphold, tell the world what's acceptable in your space. You say you want loyalty, yet tolerate dishonesty. You want peace, yet invite chaos. You want growth, yet keep habits that pull you back. That contradiction isn't life's fault. It's a signal your standard needs strengthening. Ask yourself, what have I lowered just because I was tired of waiting? Where did I drop the bar in the name of being realistic, patient, or liked? Which dreams have I downsized to fit others' comfort? And what if I refuse to drop the bar again? When your standard is excellence, mediocrity cannot survive in your space. It will be uncomfortable. Some people will leave. Some habits will resist. That's the refining. That's the price of a higher life. Hold the line. Look discomfort in the eye and say, I'm not lowering myself to be accepted. I'm rising so I can lead. Be willing to feel lonely for a season so you never live diminished for a lifetime. Setting a higher standard isn't rigidity. It's being rooted in your values, your worth, your vision of who you're becoming. When that vision matters more than temporary ease, everything shifts. Your time is better protected. Your circle grows intentional. Your energy becomes potent because everything is filtered through a higher lens. Let this be your turning point, not with drama, but with decision. Quietly raise the bar, then refuse to lower it. Let your new standard speak without words. Let your standard be visible in how you walk, how you speak, how you respond. Let it be felt by anyone who enters your space. Let it guide you through temptation, fatigue, and fear. Once your standard is rooted in truth and reinforced by action, life can't help but respond. People around you change. The way you're treated changes. Most importantly, the way you see yourself transforms. And that is the real reward of a higher standard. You become someone you respect, someone you trust, someone you can count on. That changes everything. The subconscious attracts what you feed it. It is always listening. When you doubt, when you complain, when you say, I can't, I never, it's too late. And it believes you. But it isn't moved by a single statement. It's moved by repetition, its native language. Your mind is fertile ground. It doesn't judge the seed. It accepts it and multiplies it. If you keep feeding it fear, scarcity, and comparison, those become your lens. You begin to see the world through limitation, finding reasons to hold back, play small, and hesitate, until your life echoes those thoughts. But shift your inputs. Fill your mind with belief, clarity, and gratitude, and everything begins to change. You begin to imagine more, expect more, and act accordingly. Reality bends toward your dominant thoughts, not by magic, but because your inner state shapes how you interpret and engage with the world. Your subconscious is the most powerful engine you have, but it needs training through repetition, emotion, and imagination. These tools imprint the subconscious and shape identity. Think of your mind like a compass. Conscious thoughts set the direction, choosing the goal. The subconscious is the engine that gets you there. Once trained, it runs automatically. It spots opportunities you once missed, strengthens habits that align with your vision, and guides behavior to match your inner programming. Here's the truth. If you don't program your subconscious, the world will. It will fill you with noise, fear, and distraction, teaching you to doubt, consume, and react. That's why guarding your mental input is essential. Every word, image, and affirmation is a seed, and your subconscious is always fertile. Ask yourself, what affirmations, thoughts, and images am I rehearsing daily? What's playing in the background of my life? Which scripts am I internalizing? Do they build me or break me? Are they moving me toward who I want to become or anchoring me to who I've been? You don't need to speak loudly. You need to speak often and intentionally. Don't let fear narrate your day. Choose words that elevate. I am capable. I am resourceful. I am becoming. Say them daily, not once. Tie them to emotion. See yourself living them. Feel their truth. That's how you speak to the subconscious and how you rewire belief. Visualization isn't daydreaming. It's a programming tool. When you vividly imagine success, engaging all your senses, the subconscious doesn't distinguish between real and vividly rehearsed experience. It begins building behaviors to match that image. Your brain is always wiring connections. Strengthen the ones that serve you. Starve the ones that sabotage you. Think, "I'll never catch up," and your mind hunts for proof. Say, "I'm gaining momentum," and you start spotting growth and expand toward it. Guard your inputs. The books you read, the people you allow close, the tone you use, the music you consume, the conversations you replay. Each either supports your direction or scatters it. The subconscious doesn't care if inputs are true, only if they're consistent. Choose wisely. This is how attraction works, not by wishing, but by aligning. You become a magnet for your dominant inner state. You draw what you prepare for and what you believe you deserve. So believe with intention, speak with purpose, imagine with clarity. Train your subconscious like an ally. It is listening. Give it the right instructions, and it will carry you where you're meant to go. What you fear, you often invite. Fear is magnetic. Fear is magnetic, not because it has power of its own, but because we feed it with repetition. What you fear most, you rehearse. What you rehearse, your mind begins to embody. You start living as if it's already true, and in that way, you invite it. You say, "I don't want to fail, be rejected, lose, be alone." But when those fears dominate your inner dialogue, they become your soundtrack. You begin to live in reaction to them. Tension rises, anxiety spikes, you hesitate and overcorrect. Unknowingly, you help produce the outcomes you dread. Fear narrows focus, and focus creates patterns. Whatever you stare at becomes your center of gravity. Your mind starts solving for the worst-case scenario, even if it hasn't happened. That focus shapes decisions, posture, tone. You act defensively instead of intentionally, and a defensive life becomes a limited one. Picture walking a high tightrope. The rope is narrow but sturdy, balance lives within you. Yet your eyes fix on the fall, not the line or the finish. Every step grows heavy with fear. By staring at the danger, you compromise your own stability. The fall isn't certain, but your focus rehearses it so vividly that your body responds as if it's happening now. This is how fear works. It drags the future into the present and makes you live it early. It hijacks imagination and turns it against you. But imagination is neutral. It grows whatever seed you plant. Fear is only a seed, a thought, not a prophecy. Ask yourself, which fear have I fed so much that I now walk in step with it? Fear of failure that keeps me from trying? Fear of rejection that silences me? Fear of loss that blocks full love? Now flip it. What shifts if I rehearse the desired outcome instead? Victory, connection, progress. You don't have to eliminate fear to rise. You must choose where you stare. Attraction obeys dominant emotions. When anxiety rules, you attract chaos. Make peace your anchor, and you attract clarity. Let confidence fuel you, and you attract momentum. So shift your gaze. Fear may be in the room, but it doesn't sit at the head of the table. Let belief take that seat. Let hope speak louder. Dwell on what could go right. Act from aspiration, not avoidance. This isn't denial, it's discipline. Use your mental energy to build, not brace. To move, not freeze. To expect, not dread. Fear will always exist. It's a companion of growth, but it doesn't have to lead. You are not its servant. You are the master of your focus. When you shift your focus, filling your vision with your highest intentions, you start aligning with a different outcome. One shaped by desire, not dread. Built by belief, not bracing. Guard your attention. Protect your inner spotlight. Don't let fear take the stage. Rehearse the finish, not the fall, and watch your energy and results follow. Identity change precedes circumstance change. Many try to fix life by fixing conditions. More money, new relationships, better routines. Useful, yes, but not the source of lasting change. The surface always reflects the root, and the root is identity. You cannot rise beyond the self you're loyal to. If you believe you're doomed to struggle, unworthy, or stuck, you'll drift back to that identity no matter what shifts around you. Why? The subconscious demands alignment. It pulls you toward what's familiar, even if familiar means failure. Real transformation starts not with behavior, but with becoming. Become the kind of person for whom the next level is normal. The person who earns more because they add more value. Who sustains healthy love because they love themselves. Who is consistent because they no longer identify as a quitter. Change who you're being, and what you do will follow. Think of installing a beautiful new ceiling on a crumbling frame. It looks good for a while, maybe impresses a few guests, but the cracks return. The structure can't support the upgrade, and eventually it collapses under the weight of the illusion. That's what happens when we chase outcomes without changing our inner world. We grab for fruit and ignore the root. Identity is the root. Circumstances are the fruit. Get the order right, and results last. Ask yourself, who must I become to naturally create the life I envision? Not by force or constant hustle, but with ease because it aligns with how I see myself. This isn't pretending, it's preparing your inner world to host the life you want. Everything you desire already belongs to a certain kind of person, the one who thinks, acts, and believes in ways that attract that life. You want peace? Become someone who doesn't chase chaos. You want abundance? Stop speaking the language of lack. You want respect? Start by respecting yourself. Actions speak, but identity shouts, and the world listens. It responds to who you are, not just what you do. Temporary habits collapse without a new self-image. Behavior without belief is brittle. Believe differently and you act differently. Choose differently, and, over time, attract differently. This isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. Alignment between desire and identity. When the two match, life feels less like grind and more like gravity. Things flow. Not because it's easier, but because it finally fits. The fastest way to change your life is to upgrade your identity. Speak like the person you're becoming. Think like them. Decide as they would. Let your future self inform today's actions. Each aligned choice is a vote for who you're becoming. Eventually, that version becomes your default. Not a mask, not a goal, your reality. So don't just ask, what do I want? Ask, who must I become for this to be my new normal? That answer unlocks everything. Don't chase fruit. Become the tree that naturally bears it. When you do, the harvest handles itself. You are the cause, not the effect. Most people react to problems, people, pressure, always adjusting to the external. But nothing lasting or empowered is built from a reactive posture. Until you shift from reactive to causal, you won't consistently attract what you truly desire. You weren't born to drift, you were born to direct. Imagination, choice, and will weren't given to survive the storm, but to steer through it. You're not at the mercy of moods or circumstances. Initiate change, create momentum, anchor your life in purpose. Being causal means becoming the source of your energy, your direction, your results. Don't wait for inspiration, decide to show up. Don't hope a door opens. Prepare so thoroughly that opportunity recognizes you. Think of a lighthouse. It doesn't chase ships or panic in storms. It stands firm. It shines consistently. Because of that consistency, ships navigate toward it. Be the same. Generate the energy, set the tone, choose your focus. Don't outsource your state of mind to chaos. Create alignment from within. Then the outer world responds. Ask yourself, where have I waited to feel ready instead of deciding to be ready? Where have I reacted when I should have initiated? Where have I let external triggers shape my inner state? Accept your role as the cause, and you reclaim your power. Stop asking, why is this happening to me? That question makes you a victim. Ask, what can I create from this? That question makes you a leader and puts authority back in your hands. Every circumstance holds a seed of creation, but only intentional eyes find it. Most people see setbacks. A causal thinker sees starting points. Many see endings. The causal mind sees invitations. This isn't denial of hardship. It's reclaiming authorship. You are the writer of your reality. You may not control every chapter, but you always control the pen. Decide today to be the initiator. Wake with intention, speak with clarity, act with direction. Design your days, don't default them. You don't need every answer to start, just the first step. You don't need 100% confidence, only commitment. Life doesn't wait for hesitation, it responds to movement. The world bends to those who take responsibility. Be that person, not for ease, but for growth. When you're causal, you're never powerless. You adjust, not abandon. Adapt, not excuse. Build, not blame. Your life is waiting for your leadership, and it begins when you stop reacting and start creating. You don't need permission, only resolve. You don't need perfect timing, just the courage to act. Be the cause, and watch life orbit your clarity. Stop begging for outcomes. Become the person who attracts them. Shift your habits, sharpen your self-image, and embody the mindset of the life you desire. Want more? Be more. Raise your frequency. Walk, talk, and think like the version of you who already has it. The world responds to identity, not intention. Wishing you health and happiness. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Mindset Daily.